So, to set the stage, it's February 9th, 2023. I'm 30 years old. Almost all of my friends are in long term serious relationships or married or with kids, and I am feeling lonely. I've previously been really good about covering up this loneliness with work. I'm a surgery resident. I work 80 hours a week, so I don't often really have time to sit in that loneliness. But the past year, I changed to a research schedule where I work more normal 40-hour weeks, and it's been a lot more depressing for me. You see everybody's lives move forward. You have failed relationship after situationship after whatever, and you just wonder, is this time ever coming for me? And I don't really want to emphasize any of the cliches of it'll happen when you least expect it or be happy with yourself first. That shit did not help me. That made me infuriated at people that told me that. But okay, so February 9th. So I'm specifically sitting at the airport in Houston, and they make an announcement on the loudspeaker that $600 they're offering if you'll sit in the Houston airport for 6 hours. I was like, okay, sign me up. Then I immediately, while I'm waiting now for my 6 hour later flight, I look at where Southwest Airlines flies internationally because I also like to fill my time and my loneliness with trips and traveling. So, February 9th, I'm also now sitting at this airport and I have this trip planned to go see my friend in New York the next week, and that's where my last situationship had just moved. And I remember being in the airport so anxious to text him that I'm going to New York and not knowing if he was going to want to see me or not. So I work up the courage to text him and he says like, "Yeah, like let's grab dinner." So then, literally 1 week later, I was in New York. I see him, and the rest of the weekend carries on. I reach out to him a few days later asking if he wants to do one more thing before I leave. And basically, he just like shuts me down entirely. And I think to me, this is one of those things where you like create this future in your head because you're just so lonely and you're just looking to hook on to anything. So unfortunately, when he shut me down, I was at Bottomless Mimosas with my friends, and so we went back to her apartment, and I sobbed fetal position on the floor. Reiterated how I'm never going to find anybody. I'm going to be alone forever. And the thing is I had actually gotten to that cliche, be happy on your own place, where I had looked into freezing my eggs. I had thought about a future where I was a single mom. I really want kids. But obviously, if I can find a partner that makes my life better, I want that. So, anyway, trying to get back to current times because I've been talking forever. So now we're at February 19th, where I'm sobbing on the floor. And I had set up a few dates that month in Chicago, just trying to get back out there. My first one went horribly, but I had two set up for when I came back from New York. And the first one was on that Wednesday, so February 22nd, and the guy had canceled on me the week before, so I did not have high hopes for it, but I was like, whatever, I'm in such a terrible place, I gotta go and just get myself out there and think about anything else. So fast forward to May 23rd, that guy from February 22nd just came to Cuba with me, and we had an amazing trip, and I'm incredibly happy. It's early, I know people might come at me. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is the best I felt about something in a really long time. And I wish I could tell February 9th, February 16th, February 20th myself all of that things can change in an instant and you just really never know what's around the corner.
It won't last.
Becoming a sprinkle sprinkle girly has completely changed how I engage with men. Ever since learning about sprinkle sprinkle and growing deeper into it, I've just been so excited to apply it in my dating life. But unfortunately, in the last month since becoming a sprinkle sprinkle girly, I haven't really found any guy worthy of dating me or going on even dates with me. So I haven't really gotten a chance to fully apply it just yet. But then I noticed today that I actually have been applying sprinkle sprinkle even with guys like I'm not dating. I'm with this guy today and I had to call an Uber because he didn't have Uber on his phone. And I was so worried because I was like, oh my God, this ride is 50 euros. I don't want to end up paying for it. Because of Sprinkle Sprinkle, I am now a lot more confident and comfortable with asking men for money. And I asked them at the end of the ride, I was like, so are you gonna reimburse me for that ride? Yeah, absolutely. And then by the time I got out the car, he handed me the 50 euros and I was like, in my head, I was like, thank you. And I didn't even say thank you out loud because why? Of course you should pay for us to get from point A to point B. duh. It's the end of the night and I want to go home. And the Uber is going to be another 50 euros. I turn to his friend and I go, can you call an Uber for me? And he does. And he calls me the Uber and I don't spend any money. And I think the old version of me would have just called my own Uber. The new version is like, no, these men requested my presence out here. They brought me to this location. Like, they need to make sure I get home. They need to make sure I get from point A to point B to point C, and point C is home. Earlier that day, I had also had dinner with guy number one as well, and just the thought of even like paying or contributing, because we weren't actually on a date, like didn't even cross my mind, because I'm like, no, I'm a woman, like why would I do that? And I just love that for myself. I love that how I engage with men has just like really shifted and changed. And it's saving me a lot of money.
She's broke.
Many women act as if they are not lonely and try to put themselves first or try to love themselves. But deep down inside, they feel lonely and secretly jealous to watch their friends and family have children and get married. Lying to themselves and covering it up with other activities doesn't really help. I also think one of the reasons why she's getting hurt so much is because she gets her hopes up after something goes good. She ended her video as if this date in Cuba is the start of everything turning around for her. But after she gets rejected again, her pain could become even worse.
It certainly will.
For those of you who are wondering what Sprinkle Sprinkle is, it's a term created by a dating coach that women are starting to follow. She basically teaches women how to get money from men and helps 304s to get male providers to commit to them. I'm not going to tell her name because she does not deserve any clout whatsoever, but all I can tell you is you should keep your eyes open for women who try to get money out of you. This is nothing new, but these 304s are begging desperately for a man's money because they're too incapable of making their own money.
Unfucking believable.
Real men of genius.